Okay. So the previous clip was from, sorry about my bench being messy. This is really the only bench that is. I cleaned everything except for this bench. But anyway, the last clip I showed you would have been from Saturday afternoon. If you remember, I had a seal and a bearing on here and I was confused about a puller. It is now currently Monday evening, and I hauled this thing down to the store where there's a lot more expertise down there than what I have. I'm really glad I did. I ran into Corey down there, and that guy is just off the chart awesome. I said, "Hey, Corey, you help me with this?" I'm like, "What do I got to do here?" He's like, "Throw it on the bench." I said, "Okay." I said, "Let me go get my gloves," and I said, "I'll give you a hand with it." And before I got my gloves done, he was done. I mean, that guy is just incredible with the knowledge that he has. I feel like there's nothing he's never seen. Nonetheless, he helped me get the bearing off and that old seal, and I have the new ones here. He gave me some instructions on how to put this thing together. Very, very generous with his knowledge. But he's only going to tell you once. I learned that. If you don't listen the first time and pay attention, he ain't going to tell you twice. So, Corey, if you ever get to watch my videos, thank you very much. Very helpful. So I've already cleaned up the axle. I emery cloth where the seal goes. I cleaned this up, but this is where the bearing goes. And over there in the axle housing, I've already cleaned all that up. I got everything ready to go. Got a bunch of parts from the parts counter. So let's start putting this thing together. I only got a few minutes before dinner, so we'll just see how far I get. Okay, I got some of this white gooey grease here. Can't remember what it's called, but I do know my dad said to make sure you put this on any surface where there's going to be a seal. So I'm going to put it on this little ramp edge here. Put it all the way around. This will just help me assemble the seal, I hope. And again, I don't claim to be an expert at anything. I learned what I know from screwing it up, basically. So I'm also going to take this seal here. I'm just going to put it on my finger. I'm going to wipe some on the seal itself. Pretty sure this seal is bigger than the splines here at the top, so I don't think I need to put any of this. Yeah, so this is going to go all the way down there, all the way to the bottom. That was easy. So that goes on there. One other thing I'll comment is inside here is the one that was on the housing over there. There was actually a piece of cork in there, and Corey said that originally there was just this metal plate, and there was just a loose cork gasket, I guess you'd call that, in there. And he said we don't use them anymore. This has there's a bonded rubber ring in here. So he said let him know when I'm ready to do that, and we might have to have some help doing that too. I got a little bit of that white stuff left on my fingers. I'm just gonna clean my finger off the inside of that. The bearing goes all the way down to here. And Corey had to really, he said, really give that thing some good wax to get that bearing off of there. So I imagine I'm going to have to do the same to get it down. So let me grab a punch and a chisel. Or, sorry, what am I trying to say? A punch and my hammer. Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. Find something blunt. This is pretty blunt. Hammer. I'm gonna, ooh, that's actually hitting the cage. Let me find something different. I don't like that. Here's a blunt chisel. Actually, the point's broken off. That's probably gonna work. Yeah. I'll just tap. That chisel just shed a piece of its, see the top's all mushroomed out. Here's a little safety warning. do as I say and as I do. I've been meaning to cut that off, and the piece just broke off right there. And that stuff gets you in your eyes. From what I know, it's pretty bad. So my safety glasses are literally just 10 steps away. I am going to put my safety glasses on. And then I'm going to cut that chisel off. Or I should go cut the chisel off first. Corey'd be like, just get it done. Don't be a sissy. Determined to destroy that bearing by missing. It sounds pretty solid. I think it's down. I remember when I took it apart, I could just see the shoulder looking down in there, and I don't see a gap anymore. I think we're good. I think that's as far down as it's going to go. A couple of more for good measure. Oops, sorry guys. All right. So I got that down. Let's carry it over to the tractor and shove it in the end of the axle. And I know my mom is going to ask about the chisel, so I cut it off. Okay. Oh, boy, that sucker's heavy. Like I say, I already have all of this cleaned up, and I'm actually pretty excited that this thing didn't fall off the sawhorses while I wasn't looking. So I got that going for me. There's that. Oh yeah. I got an axle in there. So I think the next thing is going to be this thing. I forgot to ask Corey what this is called. My viewers would love to know. Although 90% of my viewers probably already know. I'm the one guy that don't. So this has got to go in. And then we just start stacking all these pieces in. So, yeah. Okay. I feel like this is going to be a hassle because the axle is actually dropped in the housing. I don't want to fight with this, so I think I might actually slide the axle back out an inch or two, put this in, and try to get the axle back in without shoving that out of the housing. Well, you know what? I didn't even try. Why don't I try? Let me try. And then if I get frustrated, I'll pull the axle out. Well, I can already see this is not going to go well. I wondered if this punch... Nope, I'm already aggravated. Let's slide the axle back out. Just a couple inches. Hopefully it stays in. Seems to be the issue. Oh, it's crooked. There we go. I guess that wasn't too bad. Now I'll try to get the axle in that. Oh. Try to get the axle back in without knocking that out. Let's see, I got it. Yeah. Next is going to be that big bolt with that shim and that little triangle thing. my shim triangle thing. Got big fat hands. All right, let's tighten that up. Okay. I'm gonna wedge your bar into these studs down here so that I can get like that. I have my breaker bar calibrated to the proper torque setting, which I got out of the owner's manual. Ooh. That sucker is tight. Probably a better question is it too tight? I might be doing this wrong. No, it's not too tight. It doesn't freewheel like it did, but I think it's good. I didn't change the bearings or anything, so the lash should be, is that what they call that? Backlash? From these two tapered bearings should be good. At least I think. I mean, it spins pretty free, so I think we're gonna call that good. So here's an embarrassing moment. This keeper is the next piece to go in. It goes over that bolt. I didn't realize it was in there when I took the bolt out. And this is the little thing I destroyed. A brand new one. And the embarrassing part, I should have just paid more attention, but this little thing here was 50 bucks. That was an expensive little oversight on my part, but I was thinking, it's just a piece of metal. I could have it lasered out by Maple Grove down the road, the weld shop, but it has these grooves in it, and it's this color. I don't know. So rather than take a chance and screw something else up, 50 bucks later, yada, 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 I got the keeper. So I got a wore out one that doesn't fit nothing now. So I guess the next question is, if it doesn't line up, I'm going to actually have to loosen that bolt, right? It can't go any tighter because I have it torqued to the correct setting. I believe that is actually the case here. I'm going to have to... The points of my bolt are lining up with the points of my... Wait a minute, what if I flip it over? What are the chances of that thing? Did they think of that? Oh, they did. These engineers are clever. That thing is indexed off just enough. If you flip it over, you get a half a tooth. Corey would have yelled at me for sure. All right, so that's in. The next thing is we're going to start stacking in all these brake pieces here. I'm going to make this into a keychain. Drill a little hole and I'll hang it from the tractor. Be a nice little reminder. So that tells me this long stud. That pin has to be 100% or 180 degrees opposite of the brake actuator, which is right here. Right there's that pin, so look at that. Terrific. Okay. Now I'm going to stick this axle in there. cleaned that up earlier. That goes there. And when I took these out, they were in the right order. So I should be able to just put them back in just how I took them out. Just somebody come in here and sabotage me. This one here was next. Here's that one that had the gold Rambo on it. I don't understand how it could have gotten hot. Okay, I can already see where this is going to be a hassle, because that thing is now just laying in there. Maybe you do put all the pieces in here and then slide it in as one unit. Does that make more sense? I think that's how it's got to be. You put this back in here. Oh yeah, so this big red thing that looks heavier than ever actually centers all those pieces, so let's see if we can fight that thing in there as all in one big piece. Let's see what looks heavier than the dickens. Let's put it up here. Again, I don't do this every day, so this is like a puzzle. Okay, well, I went to dinner. Let me plug my light in here. I went to dinner. As you can see, it looks a little different. And while I was having dinner, I said, man, there's got to be a way to do this. I'm thinking to myself, what would Corey do? So I stood this thing up. I actually put some, I don't know if you can see down there, but I put a couple of wheel nuts on so the studs are not sitting on the concrete. And dropped this brake assembly down in there, and it dropped right on. I cannot see or tell if I got it right, but it looks right. We get a screwdriver. I can see that the one plate that's bothering is the one at the very bottom. It's kind of the one I'm really worried about. If it's loose down in there, oh yeah, just scooched it that way. Just scooched it, so it's definitely not trapped underneath the. I think we're good. All right, got about 8 or so nuts to put on. Let's get that thing bolted down. Okay. Just had a phone call. One of my buddies calling me. Hey, what are you doing? So I put the nuts on while I was talking to him. Okay. Click. Maybe. Oh yeah. I believe that is sitting on there correctly. Okay. If I remember right, there was a washer on there. Oh, that's filthy. Let me clean that up. Okay, put the washer on. I got this little clip on there. I didn't realize it was broke. So, I gotta get it one of those clips. So before I can put this, that holds the washer up. So before I put the shackle and the nut back on, I'll have to get me one of them little things. It's probably important. And then, oh, I have that. I have a great big O-ring. Actually, the last part that I bought is this big O-ring right here that goes around that whole trumpet. I put some of my dad's fancy white grease, just a little bit on it. Probably don't need that, but I'm gonna put it on. And I think that's all I'm gonna do today. It's very dark out. Be bedtime a little bit. I'm gonna take a trip in a day or two. I gotta do laundry. So put this O-ring on here. And I still have to go pack. So I just need that little clip right there. I can put this on. The shackle for the brake actuator. And then I think we're ready to slide it together. And I still got to come up with a pin to hook the shackle back to that lever sticking out of the tractor. That's hooked to the pedals over here. So, all right, I'm glad I got that done. I was not looking forward to asking Corey for help for that. So, and not only that, but to handle that big heavy thing, I think I'm going to wait and have some backup. So maybe next time I get going, I'll have a helper. Because I think this thing is going to be a little awkward by myself. Plus, we still have to punch over that seal on the axle. I did listen to Corey when he told me to wait and do that after it's bolted back onto the tractor. So you have to push the seal against the end of the housing and knock the. You have to knock the. Anyway, I'll show you that. So all for now. I'm going in the house. We'll next time you see me, we'll hopefully be putting this thing on. Okay, I got that little keeper thing on there. I got the shackle on the actuator shaft. Probably saying that totally wrong. I was going to wait for a buddy, but didn't ask any buddies to come be a buddy. So I'm going to see if I can just do this. Like, I'm one of them stubborn guys that don't want to wait. So I don't know. I'm either going to succeed or get hurt or get frustrated and wait for a buddy anyway. So let's see how I do. Okay. First thing I got to do is lay this thing down. So I think if I pick this up with my engine hoist here, this thing here is going to be a monster to handle. Aha. Not so bad, was it? All right, let's lay it down. Although I don't know where that brake actuator is. Sure don't want to damage that. Oh, that's off to the side. I'm okay. Set this down on the floor. Okay, it's on the floor. Question is, now what do I do with it? What I'd like to do is run a strap around it. I'd like to run a strap around it and see if I could just balance it. Honestly, that would be ideal. But I don't know. I wish that lift arm wasn't on there, but this pin, I couldn't get it out last time I tried, so that was a no. I think a strap would be better than this little chain. So let's go the chain. My strap hangs right here. And instead of, I think I'm gonna just sling this. This end's pretty heavy because of that. But when I tried picking this off the sawhorse, I remember that end being heavy. I'm just gonna wrap strap right here. Let's just put some tension on it. See how lucky I can get about this thing being balanced. And then let's go from there. So let's run this through there. It's pretty long. I wonder if I could wrap around it twice. Is that a thing? A couple of wraps. That'll also help keep it from sliding, because if the strap hits itself, yeah, that'll be all right. No way. So, I feel like that went way too easy. My crane is hitting this jack stand and the jack, but boy, am I close. Man, I'm really freaked out that that went that easy. Got my O-ring in there. These, I think I'm okay. Wow. Guess I didn't need a buddy. It's not bolted on yet, so I better watch my mouth, but that one might get a wrench because it's kind of in behind this ear here a little bit. It's hard to tell from where you are, but all right. Okay. Happy Sunday. I went to the farm machinery show, so it's been a few days since I've been out here, but I remember the next step I had to do this oil seal on the end of the housing. I was talking to Corey. He said to put pressure on the seal to hold it tight against the housing, and there's a groove in the end of the housing. He said take a chisel and just with pressure on it and just kind of makes, he said find 4 or 6 spots and just kind of bend the tin over to kind of hook into that groove. So I got these wooden blocks. I actually used these when I was working on the Massey. I had the front end off of it and it kept the front end from tipping over. So I got them wedged in there and it actually made a pretty nice gap. So now we'll just make, I'm thinking 6 prick punches on it. So I'm just going to start, I'll just start right here. Corey said just a few love taps and should do it. Let's see. I'm using the repaired chisel, my mom approved chisel. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is hook up my shackle here. And then once we get driving the tractor, we'll have to adjust the brakes. The pin doesn't slide through this hole real good. Don't have a great way to clean that hole up. So I'm gonna Take a shortcut here. I found this old router bit. I do not do any woodworking, but I got a router bit. Just put it in my drill on full bore, full send.